Are you ready?
Go.
Yep.
Hey, man. Welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast, dude.
Hey, how are you feeling? I feel kind of depressed and awful. Oh, yeah. Next time say good and then shut the fuck up.
Well, hello and welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast. We're here all the time on Strong Island TV, the podcast playground, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you might find your podcasts. And we got a great show today, and we got the regular group of lunatics. We got Mike Grief.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready to talk about Rodney's sack today. I didn't know Rodney played football, but we're going to talk about all his sacks.
Man. And we and we have Craig Mitchell.
Sacks. More than just Fifth Avenue. Okay. Nice.
Hold on a second, guys. My mic just went out. Okay,
where did Mike go?
Back.
Mike went somewhere.
I'm sorry. No, my mic went out and then it's back. All right.
Oh,
okay, I'm glad it's back.
It said you're going to the MacBook Pro microphone and your blue snowball is no longer working.
The AI is
now it's working.
So you were talking about balls and your snowball went out.
I know my big snowball went out. So
that sounds painful.
We are here live from the new renovated Big Bad Broadcast Studios.
It's beautiful. It's
Right,
beautiful.
right here, located in downtown Area 51.
So we've got a great show for you today. We have a comedian who's done basically everything. I've known him for a really long time, and he's great. So we're going to show you a quick clip, and then we're going to bring him in, and we're just going to talk about everything he's done and everything he's going to do.
You got it.
David Bowie was first. Ground controls, Major Tom. Ground controls, Major Tom. I'm in space, I'm weightless, and I can't keep my panties on. David Bowie, right off the top of my head, come on! Queen, here we go, Queen. We are the champions, my friend. We can have sex from either end. Right off the top. Right off the top.
All righty, and right off the top of our heads, we're going to bring him right in. Amazing segue.
Yes. He's coming in. Trust me. I pressed the button. There he is.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen.
There's his name. Hey, there he is.
Dennis
Blair.
What happened?
Welcome.
What happened?
What happened? It's a well-oiled machine after 200 shows.
That was a software issue. It wasn't up to me.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
it's always
the
a software.
government, man. The government's watching.
It's always a
machine.
software issue because we're not dumb enough. We're dumb enough to not figure it out. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rodney's balls. Let's.
Rodney's nuts.
Am I the only one who hasn't seen him? Am I the only one?
They're in
Yeah,
Area
yeah.
51.
yeah,
Hey, that was some
missing
really
it.
good guitar playing, man. You're not only a comedian, you seem like a professional musician as well.
Oh, thanks. I didn't see what you were playing, so I'm just gonna have to take your word for it.
Oh, we played a part of your the
Dry bar.
not dry
Huh?
yeah dry bar, right? Yeah, where you did Bowie and you did Queen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guitar, man. I'm on top of it. You know what I'm saying?
No, you really kick ass. Well, we have a song of yours we're going to play later. You really kick ass. You're a very talented musician, man.
Well, thank you. That's how I started. You know, I didn't think I was going to do this shit. That's for sure.
Yeah. But thank God you do it because you're hilarious, man.
Thanks.
I actually interacted with you. I was going to save this later, but why not now?
Yeah.
In 1980,
Okay.
You were on an overnight. You guested on an overnight radio show with Alan Combs.
That's right. Well, Alan Combs.
And I was a caller,
Wow.
and I gave you an improv to do, and you did it.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I said,
Let's relive that now. Go ahead, give him the no.
Yeah.
No, no.
I
The
don't have that,
improv
I don't
was
have that
something.
skill anymore.
No, it was something like. Tiny Tim on a bicycle, and he went. I went down too fast on the bicycle seat. Oh, never forgot it because I laughed for like 20 minutes.
You know, I'm so proud of my stuff. I really am.
That's 43 years, man.
I know.
I get to say hi finally.
Craig is the king of useless knowledge.
Well, so am I. So I think we should rule the kingdom somewhere.
So says the man who's obsessed with Rodney's ball sack.
I'm not obsessed with it. It's just a fact. If you've ever been backstage with Rodney,
I've seen the pictures in your house
that you don't want to see.
Yeah, and he always looked like he didn't know they were hanging out. That's the beauty of it, you know.
Maybe
like
he didn't.
He just had the robe open, and doesn't everybody do this? Doesn't everybody walk through a casino with their balls hanging out in a bathroom? It's like
with his towel, though.
Yeah, with his towel.
I know.
Maybe his balls bought him luck, so he had walked through the casino with his balls hanging
Well, I
out.
think we got to clear this up. Backstage, right? And you know more than I do. Rodney never wore clothes. He just wore his white terry cloth bathrobe.
Right. As a matter of fact, when he was doing they were doing like a 60-minute special on him or something, and we were with him. And it took over like a week to do, the different segments. And he wore the same. He didn't wear the same shirt, but he had the same shirt in like 10 different colors. Yeah, so he wore the same shirt. It looked like the producer said, Rodney, can you like wear a different shirt tomorrow? Because people are going to think we did this all in one day. Okay, yeah, right. I think I got another shirt. I'm not sure.
But he was a good guy to open for, right? Because he loved comics.
Yeah. I mean, if it not for him, I wouldn't be anywhere. So, and his audiences were tough, which was good because it made I had to be funny real fast, because they were beer drinking and they, you know how it is. You open for a guy, the lights go down in the theater, people are going crazy, Rodney, and then I fucking walk out,
Oh my God.
not looking exactly like Rodney, and people are just booing before I got to the microphone. Where's Rodney? So I had to open up with the music real fast, but it was a good way to get the audience right on your side.
I had that opening for Dice a couple of times. Opening for Dice, man. You want to talk about the audience but it start of hating you and they're yelling shit and whatever.
Yeah.
And
So now tell us about Dice's ball sack. Go ahead.
I'll tell you about Dice's fans. I remember it's like this. I was standing in front of the dressing room and he was, back there, and these girls come over and they're asking me, can you get Dice and they pull open their shirt and they got wearing nothing underneath. Would Dice come out and sign my tits? And I'm like, well, I'll ask him, I mean, I'm happy to sign them for
Let
you.
me see them again. And I'll let you know if they meet standards.
To his credit, Dice just fucking laughed and he went, Jesus, these people are fucking nuts.
That's when Mike was happy to be a co-signer.
Oh, hell yeah. But I would have signed, I mean, I bet nobody ever came up and wanted to sign Rodney's nuts.
Not that I can remember, but it's been a long time. But my memory's a little blurred. So
Yeah. Speaking of just a quick Dice story, do you remember there was a comedy club called Grandpa's Comedy Alley?
Oh, yes.
And it was run by like the mob, right?
Wasn't that Frank D'Amico?
I don't know who it was, but all I know is, so they first opened, and this guy, Big Augie, the owner, this is the greatest line ever. I walk in there the first time and he goes, "It is an honor to have you in my club. I hear things with my ears that you are a funny man, and it is an honor since you're Italian to be here. Let me tell you what I got going on here. Basically, went to the comedy and the import-export business."
Nice.
So the next night, he calls me aside. He goes, "Listen, it's a new club, and Dice just called me, wants to do a spot." He goes, "If you don't mind, I know that you're supposed to be headlining, but you don't have to go on. No one wants to follow that piece of shit." That's what he says. So he goes, "But, I just want to run it by you, He goes, "But it would be good for him."
His name is
by the way, John, I'm just letting you know, Dice is our guest next week.
Right.
So
right. No, I get along fine with Dice. So anyway, every time I see Dice, he goes, You still take that bar stool up the ass. I love
Yeah.
you.
Ah, yes.
So anyway, Dice comes out. This is Saturday night mafia club, like out of Goodfellas, all with their wives and their dates. He comes out and he's going, so I'm standing on the line with my tongue, right? And these guys are just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You know, so I go to Augie, I go, I'll go off. So I went up after him. It's my opening line. I go, hey guys, I go, next week is Mother's Day. We're doing a special show, and I'm in Dice's Yaks. I'm sure you all want to bring your moms.
Yes. Bring your moms.
They
Bring your
went
fucking
crazy.
moms.
They went crazy.
Wow, that's
Well,
great.
going back to Rodney, though, I mean, I was looking at your resume, and you were co-writer, and of course, you had a couple of cameos in one of Mike's favorite films.
Easy money.
Easy money. Well,
Yes.
here's the well, you know, my timing was perfect hooking up with Rodney, because after I started opening for him, like Caddyshack came out, and like all of a sudden he's doing theaters. He used to be doing his club, and I was doing theaters. And he says that he's like, first of all, talking about ball sacks. I'm in his dressing room. He's talking to me, and he's getting out of his red tie, black jacket thing, and he's down to his ball sack. But meanwhile, as he's exposing his ball sack, he's going, so listen, they want to do a movie starring me because of Caddyshack, So if you come up with an idea for a movie for me, let me know. Now I'm fucking doing comedy with Rodney for like 2 months at that time, and he's asking me to write a movie, come up with an idea for a movie for him. I went home and just paced the floor and just came up with the idea for Easy Money in 20 minutes or something.
That's
like that.
incredible, man.
Ran back to the club. He was totally dressed by that time. And
Right. Do you remember when all he talked about was that cartoon he was going to do?
Rover Dangerfield?
Yeah. They want me to be a dog.
But you created, you wrote Easy Money?
I did not get the credit for it, but I came up with the basic story idea. And long story short, he made me a writer on the film. So
wow, did you get to work on the set? Were you on set?
I was on the set all the time. I loved Joe Pesci. I love that man. He is so great, and I think he was a big Rodney fan at the beginning of the whole thing. But as the movie went on, first of all, if Joe got a laugh from the crew, like during rehearsal, Rodney would take the fucking line that he got. So he hated him for that. All of a sudden, I came up with that line. What the fuck? Rodney's taking it from me. And then he would do a scene. With with Pesci, and Pesci and a bunch of us would be standing around. And Pesci goes back to his trailer and he looks at us and goes, he can't fucking act, and go into his trailer.
I brought up on the show a couple of weeks ago, whatever, when he was on Caddyshack, he was being directed by Harold Ramis.
Yeah.
They're his first scene was in the pro shop. It's a famous scene. That hat me looks good on you. Yeah. And they said Harold Ramis went action, and Ronnie was just standing there. And he goes, action. And he went, Rodney, do your thing. And then he started doing it. And he said for the rest of the movie, whenever he said, Rodney, do your stuff. And that's how he got him to do stuff.
Okay.
Was it still going on that way? Or did he get past that by the time he got the Easy Money?
He didn't do that, but I remember him and Joe. Okay, so Joe Pesci wanted to get into the character, right? And he said, yeah, Rodney, you and me should hang out as our characters on, in this movie, and just sort of like get into it. And Rodney goes, I don't do that, man. Here's what I do. You throw a line at me, I throw a line back at you. That's what I do. That's his method of acting.
Jesus.
I throw a line at you, and the look on Joe's face was, is it too late to get out of my fucking contract?
Yeah, really? You know what, though? He was, to his credit, man, Joe Pesci was amazing in that movie.
Oh, yeah, he was. But I never heard any cast members talk about the movie. I never heard Joe talk about it like on a talk show or something. Taylor Negron, Jennifer Jason Leigh. It's like they wanted to forget the whole experience.
But the movie was a huge hit, man.
I know.
Yeah.
But not right away. I think it took a while. But people come up to me still go, you wrote that movie? Oh my God, that's my favorite movie. But I think it took a while to really get traction.
I think on home video it really exploded. Yeah. That's when renting was like brand new. I remember that's how I saw it. I rented it.
It became like a cult classic almost.
I guess, yeah. But again, I mean, the reviews were lukewarm, when it came out.
I mean, I watched it a couple of weeks ago, and the scene that still makes me guffaw is the wedding cake.
Yeah,
in the van.
It's wedding cake flavored.
Yeah.
Hey,
don't eat that. That's my daughter.
But I mean, I've been doing comedy for like 6 months or something. I'm going, I can't believe I'm doing this. This is like, even though there was weird things that happened on the set, it was just like great experience.
Must have been pretty surreal. I
The
mean, God, I've
last
seen your
time,
resume. You've worked for tons and tons of incredible
Yeah.
people.
the
Yeah.
last time I saw you, Dennis, which I know again you won't remember, you were opening for George Carlin in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And Carlin invited me to the show because I had just met him in Atlantic City a couple of
Right.
weeks before. And we were backstage and we just kind of passed in the hallway. And
Yeah.
what a good guy he was.
Oh man.
How do their balls compare?
George's were
George is
lower,
like
but smaller. So
Yeah. Dude, I'll just is these guys know this. This is my Rodney story, my Carlin story. I was working in Atlantic City at the Eddie Murphy Comedy Club.
Okay.
And it's all things all over. Come to my comedy club with Eddie Poynton, right? So you're the headliner, and everyone's expecting Eddie Murphy. All right, you come out and there's an audible gasp, like, who's this guy? Yeah. So I do the show and I'm all depressed. It's a Friday night and I'm on my knees. It's not even a dressing room. I'm putting away my props and I'm throwing them in there. And this guy comes up behind me and he goes, "So I just want to say, I'm a pretty funny guy. My friends tell me I can really crack them up around the water cooler."
Yeah.
He goes, "Can you tell me, how one could get started in this business?"
Mm-hmm.
And he's going on and on and on. And I'm just putting away my shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, please just go away. And finally, I turn around and it's George Carlin. He goes, "I so had you, man. I so had you.
Great.
I so had you."
Oh,
And he
man.
knew of course, he knew everything every boring question that a comic's been asked. And he just kept going and going.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Come on, let's go over to the bar and have a beer,
Yeah,
And I told these guys, it was like hanging out with Yoda.
No shit. I know. Yeah, I mean, he was so down to earth. I mean, I had this agent that got me the booking with him for 3 months, back when we had agents. And I said, "You want to open for George Carlin? Are you fucking kidding me?" Yeah. So I go to Omaha, never met the guy, and I'm going, shit. I hope he's not like one of these angry, depressed sort of. I'm downstairs in the dressing room at the Orpheum in Omaha. I hear George's voice upstairs going, "Dennis, where the fuck are you?" Never met the guy. Down here, and he comes down. He like grabs all of my fruit plate. He goes, "I'm gonna take all your fucking carrots, all right? Hi, I'm George." Like he had to introduce himself, and he's just walking around my room, just being stupid. It's like, all right. Anyway, don't fuck up. So what are we watching here? And that's how it started. I'm going, all right, this could be fun.
You were with him like 18 years, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to be 3 months, and he said, "So you want to fucking stay?" I said, "I got nothing else to do." So yeah, that's how that happened. Just stuck around.
Nice to have a steady paycheck, that's for sure.
No shit. And I can even like 5 years in, 10 years, I'm going, how long is this going to last? Because
and he also had didn't he almost had like a residency at Bally's, right? He was always there.
Yeah, we did Bally's, I think 10 weeks a year for 10 years, and then we moved over to MGM.
Yeah, the MGM Grand, right?
And that was another 4 years, and then the Orleans, I think, Stardust, Orleans. He came to hate Vegas. He really did. I remember just being downstairs, and he was on. I was hearing his voice upstairs. He was on stage, but something sounded different to me. So I go running upstairs, and he's like berating the audience, like, you've heard the video of him, right? Just go, "Fuck you guys," about that with the heckler. He's going, "You fucking people sitting there betting all your money, you fucking retards. I'm telling you, I got a great career when I go on the road. I don't need this fucking shit." And now the difference between dogs and cats. He would just go into the next bit.
I was working at Bally's once in Vegas, and they had the big PGA tournament there.
Okay.
And he came out and did his whole bit about there's no such thing as golf. It's not a sport. The ball's too, and they're leaving in droves. He doesn't care. It's a total waste of space.
I heard like a lot of times he couldn't tell what was funny anymore because he goes, I think it was Joey Cola that said this. He goes, the guy couldn't, because they would laugh no matter what he said. He could just walk out and say anything and they would laugh.
He told me that. He told me once when we were having this conversation, he goes, "I love comedy. I hate being George Carlin."
Interesting.
And I go, "Why?" And he goes, "Because they just laugh because I'm George Carlin."
Huh.
He goes, "Come to the show tomorrow night."
See if you're still laughing.
And I'll show you. And he goes, "I'll show you what I'm talking about." So I go, I'm sitting in the front row, He comes walking out with his black T-shirt and his black jeans and his cowboy boots, and everyone's in suit and ties in Atlantic City. And he walks out and he goes, "Hi, my name's George Carlin, and I don't do a lot of political stuff anymore. I just say fuck a lot." And he just looks right at me, and the whole audience goes crazy, and he winks.
Oh my God! Holy shit! Oh, I remember before when I was still with Rodney. George was playing, I think this was Atlantic City in a casino down the street. He said, and Rodney goes, "Come on, let's go. Hey, say hi to George," you know. So we go now. The headliner was Suzanne Summers. So we had complete perfect audience for George. Old women with blue hair, you know, like
to buy one of those exercise thigh machines.
Yeah, the thigh master.
Right. Oh, she's very good on the show, you know, that kind of thing. So he comes. They don't even know who he is, you know. And he comes out and he says, you know, "Why is it that the people who are against abortion are people you wouldn't want to fuck in the first place?" And the entire play.
Well, he says to me, he goes, "I'm going to do my mentalism trick for you."
Okay.
And I go, "What?" And he walks out. He walks up to this woman in the front row, and he puts his hand on her stomach and says, "I see a 9. I see a 7. I think a 1. And I see pink. You're having a baby girl on September 17th." And she goes, "I'm not pregnant." He goes, "You fat bitch."
Jesus Christ. Do you remember about what year that was?
Oh, God, it's a long time ago.
70s?
Because it was before, I think you had just kind of, I think you were just starting to work with him.
Yeah, I did. I started in '88. So, you know.
Yeah, so it was probably,
Your resume is so impressive. I saw that you worked with Gary Shandling on it. Out to me, that's that's pretty cool. What was that like?
So I get a call from I've been with Rodney for like 3 years. I get a call from Joan Rivers' manager, Julie Salmon. She goes, apparently some maitre d' at Caesars talked me up or something to Joan. You know, say, "Hey, you should try this guy." You know, she's that's it. And then I went. She hired me for 10 days in a row, just unseen.
Wow.
And the first place was Massachusetts. It was the Chateau de Ville. And she comes walking in with Edgar and Gary, and had never seen me, didn't know me from Adam.
Right.
And at first, someone came back and said, "Hey, Gary didn't really like what you're doing," and stuff like that. I said, "Oh no, really?" I don't know, maybe the guitar stuff, you know, the typical. Oh, he does a guitar thing. But after a couple of weeks, we just got along great. But that was, you know, again, we had some fucking fun on the road. Holy shit!
Oh,
you know what I want to ask you when you're opening for George Carlin, and of course, over the course of time, the audiences, you know, were you kind of doing like counter programming, meaning you know where George is going to be? So did you intuitively or instinctively kind of change the way you presented your comedy to be kind of like, you know, there'd be a departure from what he's going to do?
Well, I think one of the reasons that George liked having me was because I was so different. There was no conflict ever, you know. And I never said fuck. I would never say fuck in front of him. No one told me not to, but I just didn't because he should be the first one to say it.
Well, you said in your clip. No, I don't know if you said, you know, you thought there was going to be a clean show. You do generally do a clean show, right?
Yeah, usually. But I could go anyway because I'm a whore. Whatever the audience warrants, that's what I'll do.
What do you think George would be saying about today's political environment? I mean, you got close to him. What do you think? Do you think he'd be losing his mind?
People ask me this, and I say, I don't know, of course, but knowing George like I did, I would say he'd probably be going, "This whole species, man, these people, you know," and his point would be, "Good, fuck them, fuck people." Yeah. I hope we all die in a horrible trash fire.
Where's the fucking meteor? Where's the meteor?
Yeah, he'd be enjoying it on a certain level because he was kind of that way on stage anyway. Near the end. You know?
Near the end, it was almost like he was like the bitter philosopher.
He really didn't give a shit anymore. Yeah,
and but it was so brilliant what he was saying. You know,
I guess when you get to that point when you have enough money, enough fame, enough success, you can do any fucking thing you want, you know?
Yeah. I do think he still enjoyed performing, you know, up until the very end when he was just really sick, you know?
Yeah.
But he liked writing, he liked performing, but he didn't.
And he liked carrying his dog around the casino.
Yeah, right.
Carry his dog.
But then he'd come off stage like this bitter. "So fuck all you people. I hope you all die, and I hope it's a horrible, disgusting death. And I hope there's a nun in there with you," or whatever he'd say. You know, whatever he'd say. And then he'd come off stage and go, "Say, hey, dentist, you want to go?" He wasn't a hanging out kind of guy, but we worked together. He was hilarious. Holy shit. We used to have these games. We go in the same rent a car, like we base out of Chicago, something like that. And we do Joliet that one night and then another place near Chicago. So we'd have 3 nights. But we do a 45-minute car ride. And me, him, and the road and his manager would be in the car. And he came up with this game, like, what was the one thing? He said, okay, celebrities who have the most pubic hair. That would be the question. And I forget what I yes, I forget what I said. Tizzy? Yes. I forget what I said, and I forget what his manager said, but George said, Rhea Perlman.
Yakov Smirnoff.
No, I got the answer. It's Abe Vigoda. Come on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Abe.
Oh, fuck. All right.
When I met him the first time, like I said, in Atlantic City, he was like, hey, listen, he goes, tomorrow night I'm going back to the city. He goes, they want to send me a car. I just say I got a rental car. He goes, I'd rather go in a rental car. I'd rather drive. He goes, if you want to ride back to the city, just jump in with me, And the crazy part was I had a show on Sunday night. I was actually considering just going for the ride.
Sure, what the fuck? Why not?
Spend that much time, and then I'm going, how am I going to get back?
I would have. I mean, shit, it's a
I made him laugh, though. I did make him laugh. Well, I was getting ready. He came back to see me on Saturday night, and it was only, again, now the word got out that it wasn't Eddie Murphy, so there's only about 30 people there.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there, and I think it was Jim Balatzos was running the room at the time.
Wow.
And he comes up to me, and I go, look, I need one person to get no guests on Saturday night. I go, it's George Carlin.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, George Carlin. I go, it's George Carlin.
That's great.
Put his name down in case you don't recognize him, right?
Right.
So we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden he comes up and goes, 10 minutes to showtime. And I go to George, I got to get ready. He's going, you got 10 minutes, And I go like this. I go, yeah. I go, but I got to go call in a bomb scare.
Right. There you go.
So he goes, great move. And he told me, he goes, I worked this joint once. He goes, 2 weeks, 2 shows a night. Not one person showed up for the entire 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy made me go on and do my set every night.
He did tell me that story.
And I go, why? But his line was the best. I go, why'd you have to go on? He goes, he felt if someone wandered in, they wanted to think it was happening.
Yeah. And then he said also there was a big window. And, he said if people happen to look in through the window, they'd see a guy on stage and they'd come the fuck in,
Nice.
So,
if I'm not mistaken, you have a book out right now, don't you? Or is it coming out, or is it out already?
Oh, it's been out a while.
There you go. Look at that. Craig is right on that.
Yeah, it's all the people, just the backstage stories with Carlin and Rodney and Joan Rivers and Shandling and.
What's one of your favorites? I mean, unless you don't want to give it away, but what's one of your favorite?
My favorite Carlin is I brought my mother wanted to come to a show in New Jersey, so I said okay, so I bring her. And I'm going backstage with my mother, and I think she was a little drunk or something like that. She was being weird that whole day. And George pops his head out of his dressing room just as I'm passing. And I go, hey, George, this is my mom. Oh, hi. And my mother looks and goes, oh, George, you look really good. I could really go for you. My mother was like, 80 at the time. Wow. And George looks at me, and I go, okay, Mom, I'm going to get you to your seat. I do my show. I come back, and George pops out again. He goes, hey, Dennis, your mother just gave me a blowjob in my dressing room.
Oh,
the kind of hijinks we had back then.
Wow, that's just incredible to have that kind of interaction with legends,
Yeah.
Oh my God. Speaking of legends, though, I mean, look, I got this off your website there, Dennis. Look at this. Look at this.
Wow.
Jesus, yeah, that's still on there. I gotta remove that. Oh, okay.
It's amazing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, Alan King. No shit. Wow.
Yeah, he was a really nice guy until like one time they had me. I think I opened for him like 6 or 7 times. And the 6th or 7th time I came, hi, Alan, and he didn't even say hi. It was weird. I guess he was sick. He got diagnosed with cancer or something.
Oh wow.
What the fuck did I do? Immediately we go, well, I fucked up. I said something.
I know.
Well, comics always have low self. We always think that we did something wrong, Yeah,
always. I think I'm doing something now with this podcast that's wrong. I don't know what it is.
No, you're right about that. No, I'm just.
Thank God the pressure's off.
He worked with Dolly Parton, right? I've always
Yeah, but
wanted
I
to
didn't
work
meet.
with
You know, it was
her.
one of those like
You didn't meet her? I heard she's like
Summer.
really nice.
I bet she is. No, it was Summerfest, and we never even
Right.
met. So, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I've heard of like other people I've voted for that says the nicest person ever.
Yeah,
She seems like it. She seems like she'd be the nicest person ever.
yeah.
I'm looking at this list and I'm thinking Ben Vereen and all these. I mean, and then the one I don't know why it sticks out to me. I don't know why, but I mean Toto, because I admire them as a group. They're such marvelous musicians. Did you get to know them at all?
No, it was Toto the dog.
Yeah, the what?
The dog. Yeah, he
Toto
was
the dog.
The Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah, right.
That dog was ancient. That dog was ancient by then.
Cat on the stage during his show. Very strange.
Oh man!
I didn't even stop doing his bit. Very real. Yeah, they were again one of those old theaters where the dressing rooms are connected. So pass in the hallway. Hey, how you doing? Oh yeah, nice to meet you. That kind of stuff. Didn't hang with them really. It was like
awesome. I love that man.
You worked with Jackie Mason too, right?
Jackie Mason's the first guy I ever opened for.
Oh man, I got to hear about that.
So I did an open mic night at Dangerfields. That's how I got in there, and it was like one of those nights where everybody was bombing. For whatever reason, I wasn't getting on. It's like I got there at like 8, and it's like almost 1:00, and I still am not on. And finally, I was there with some friends of mine, and he had this beautiful English girlfriend who went up to the guy and said, "Hi, we're here to see Dennis, and could you possibly put him on real soon?" It's like rubs her leg against his thigh, and I was on in like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
and
you were on.
Was that Bobby? Was that Bobby?
No, it was David Copperfield, the MC. Remember that guy?
Yeah. Bobby was the best.
Bobby was fantastic.
Fucking worthless sack of shit tied in the middle yard.
Yeah,
it's my
Bobby. And he would never turn. He had the phone. He had the phone where he would people would call and they would give him his their credit card numbers to make a reservation. But he never turned off the volume.
Yeah,
because he'd have to announce people, and now Dennis Blair, and now Bobby Dangerfield, so he wouldn't turn it off. And you're in the middle of your act, and you'd hear Bobby going, "All right, that's American Express 479." Bobby, the mic's on, you fucker. That kind of thing.
He was funnier than half the acts they had.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I just remember if he didn't like you, and you could hear him from the fucking thing, and he would just yell that. He would just go, "Get off the stage, you fucking worthless sack of shit!"
I got there one night, and he goes, "So, Johnny, did you bring me a picture?" I go, "Oh shit, Bobby, I forgot." He goes, "Ah, shit, let's go to the box." We go to the box. He goes to the box of 8x10s, right? He's going through the boxes of 8x10. He goes, "Let me go to the Dago section."
The Dago section.
He looks at me and he goes, "You don't even look like a Dago. I'll find something." And he finds out. He takes out a picture of Stanley Ullman.
Oh my God!
Who you look nothing like.
I look nothing like him. I go, "Bobby." I go, "He doesn't have a beard and he wears glasses." He goes, "Till you shaved and you got your fucking eyes fixed."
Yeah.
That's right. Open with it.
You got to get something from the Dago section.
The Dago section.
That happened I worked at some club in Jersey, and I walked in, and there's a picture of the woman I'm working with. I think it might have been Patty Rossborough, and Richie Triola.
Okay.
And it says Craig Mitchell under. I'm like, wait a minute, it's Richie Triola. He goes, "Oh, that's not you." So I had the black beard at the time.
Okay. Fuck, man. They didn't give a shit. Nobody gave a shit.
No.
So great, Just go up and do your fucking show.
Really.
Do you have a prom show? Yes, we do. What is it?
God.
I give you 2 watered down Cokes, and he points to me and Minervini. He goes, "And you get to watch this shit."
Right.
Shit.
Thank you, Bobby.
So proms, for the benefit of our audience, you would do your show, and then during prom season, the kids would come in, right? And then you do the show for them, and then some of them would stay, and you'd have to do a third show for them. But it was like half the same who had just seen you.
Yeah.
So I remember starting the second prom show, and this guy after like a minute, this guy, drunk kid in the front goes, "Is it you gonna do the same shit?" I go, "Yeah," and he goes, "You're a hoople."
You're a hoopball.
What the fuck is a hoople?
I was there one night, and they were lined up past Chippendales, and it was like the second prom show, and Otto was there.
Oh,
and Bobby just goes, "Otto,
you mean
George
was
go
there.
out and punish them." Right? So he cleared the room. like Richie goes, "This is great. You've never seen a comic clear out a complete room and watch Bobby." And he walks up to him and he goes, "Nice job, Otto. Nice job. Bring him in.
Force him out."
So
I would
funny.
have loved to seen Otto with a prom show. Oh my god!
Oh, God.
Oh man,
I
used to
saw
love-
Gilbert. I saw Gilbert a year before I started doing comedy. I just went to catch Rising Star with a couple of friends, and he cleared the room within
Gilbert Gottfried.
minutes. Yeah, no one knew who he was. This was before he was anybody.
I
remember
remember
when-
to his credit, I opened for him once in Jimmy's Comedy Alley in Queens,
Mhm.
and he walked in doubled over. He was. I mean, he had thrown his back out. He was in like just incredible pain.
Yeah.
And but when the time came, he crawled to the back into the green room. And when the time came and called his name and he came out, you'd have never known.
No,
He did his whole freaking set and then
Yeah.
crawled. I mean, it was just amazing.
I remember one night at the comic strip, right? Whenever like Gilbert walked in, all the comics went into the back of the room.
oh
you
yeah,
know?
sure.
It's like Gilbert's there. And this is the first time I ever saw him. And he's on stage and he goes, "So I'm at a party." And he goes, "And who's at the party but Jackie Onassis,
Yes.
a woman that I've adorned for years. And I don't know what to say to her, so I saunter up to her.
Saunter.
And I look at her and I go, "So do you remember where you were when Kennedy got shot?" The comics just go out of their minds.
That's right. That's the first joke he did that night I went, and people started leaving right after that.
Really?
Wow.
It just got
Yeah.
worse and worse. Yeah.
Oh, then they never would have survived Otto with the.
Only
Suck that cock.
only he could go, "I sauntered up to her."
I sauntered up to her.
It's an
I
honor.
picked him up. I had to pick him up. We were doing a gig in New Jersey again. No one knew who he was or me. So, and he gets in the car, and the first thing he says, "I hate doing this fucking shit." And then that was it. He didn't say another word. And I'm trying to make conversation. He's going, yeah. Why don't you do headline? Why don't you do the 45 fucking minutes? I don't want to fucking do that. Gilbert, I think they might be here to see you. Fuck them. I don't give a shit.
Wow.
We finally get to the gig, and I do my opening, and then and then you can't get him off the stage. He was like just having such a great time.
So funny.
But
And you also opened for Norm Macdonald, one of my favorites of all time, man.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
he was some wild stories about Norm because Norm was as unpredictable as Gilbert, or if not more.
Well, he brought these two. I thought I was going to open. That was the thing. So, and I didn't even know if he'd remember me because in the 80s, you know how they put together these softball games between clubs, comedy.
Yeah.
I was on the comic strip team for one game.
I wonder if you were on this one that I was on. And I said, "Don't put me. I'm terrible. I suck. I can't play sports. Don't." So whoever was in charge put me at fucking shortstop. I said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" So I'm stuck there. So Norm is playing first base. No, I was second base. Norm was playing first base. I get a shot right to me. It goes right past me. And everyone had said, "Oh, it's just a fun game. We don't care."
Yeah.
I missed this ball. They all go, "Oh, fuck." And Norman saunters over to me while everybody is really pissed off, and he goes, "Yeah, that ball that went right past you there." He didn't give a shit. Yeah. So during the gig, I was on. He said, "Hey, the guy who booked it said, it's Dennis opening for you." "Oh, I haven't seen him in a long time." Blah blah blah. And he's got two guys with him. And there are two of his writers from his show that he did, that kind of like no audience talk show he was doing for a while.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're writers. So apparently he's saying, "Yeah, these guys will go on first. So they'll do 10 minutes each. You do like 10. Okay, fine. I don't give a shit." And this one guy was so bad. The one guy was okay, but this other guy was just so bad. The audience hated him. And he was like the MC, so he had to go out between comics.
Yeah.
Norm is in the dressing room watching a game that obviously he has a lot of money on. So this poor kid has to go out again, and he's being booed. And then he says, "And now here he is, Norm Macdonald." And there's nothing. Norm doesn't come out. And he's just looking, and I'm going. So I go back and I go, "Norm, he just introduced you." And Norm goes, "Yeah, I got a bet on this team, and so I got to see how this play goes." This guy is dying out in the. I said, I can't go out there. I said, "Do you want me to go out and help him?" No, he has to learn. He has to learn how to handle a bad audience.
Oh man!
Finally, the play goes down. Norman goes, "Ah, fuck. And then he goes into the bathroom. Tell him I got to take a shit. I'll be right out. He's in there for the bathroom. Now this kid is he's been out there 20 minutes. He's going, oh shit, man. Finally, Norm just walks out onto the stage. But this poor guy was fucking suffering. Like,
well, you either get strong or you die, man. That's the way. It's the truth.
Was that the comic strip?
That the theater we were doing?
Oh, it was a theater. Okay,
no, it's
comic strip. Lucian hated me, I think, because one time he gave me a Friday night, which was like
Lucian, or as I call him, Robert Goulet with AIDS. If you remember what he looked like.
And he goes, "Okay, Craig, you're going on after Jenna Jones." I'm like, "Okay, great." And I'm sitting there, I'm all ready. He goes, "We have a guest who's going to come in and do some time before you, Craig. It's only going to be 5 or 10 minutes." I'm like, "Okay, great." He's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jerry Seinfeld." I'm like, "Oh my god."
Right.
Lucian was the weirdest guy in the world, man. I just remember coming off stage and he'd go, you know, John, the Asian theologians used to do a thing with a papaya to make it look like a rubber chicken.
Anyone who doesn't know,
what are you talking about?
Lucian booked the comic strip in Manhattan. For anyone who doesn't know,
I kissed his ass big time. I bought him a baseball encyclopedia. He was a huge baseball fan.
Okay.
So that's I think it's how I get the Friday night spot. To tell you the truth.
Okay. Good. Well,
I just remember auditioning for him, God knows when, and he's I just killed, and he's all excited, and he's following, and he's asking. Then he asked me, "Do you have, an agent or this?" And none. And then his excuse for not using me was, "I already have a big guy."
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Richie Franchise was.
You got a big guy.
You can't have too many big guys.
Yeah, you couldn't
on one show.
Jeez, thanks. Okay, no, I get it. I understand. You wouldn't want to have another big guy.
Yeah, I did a robot at the time, and he goes, "I don't have any other robots, so I think I think I'm going to pass you." I'm like, "Oh, cool, all right."
Right.
So you opened for some bands, right?
Yeah.
Did you? I mean, some of those can be pretty horrible.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the vote.
Do you have a really bad one?
You mean just getting booed relentlessly?
Yeah, I mean, I had one with Crosby, Stills, and Nash where it's like I opened for them for like 10 years too, and it was sort of like it was in the Tower Theater in Philly, and
I remember that.
That was like a little hellhole, and the local DJ came out and goes, "Hey, so you like Crosby, Stills, and Nash?" And they're like crazy. And he goes, "All right, well, like here's your comedian." And just walk and I walk out and they're just I go, "Who do you think who gives a shit? Bring on the band." So it was horrible. It was horrible.
How long did you have to stay up there?
30 minutes.
Oh my god.
That's not right.
I stayed out for 40 just to punish the audience.
Yeah.
And I walked off stage. These guys know the story. I walked off stage and David Crosby walks up to me and gives me this big bear hug and he goes, "Man, they fucking hated you." And I go, "Thanks." He goes, "No shit, man. They fucking hated you."
Thanks, Dave. Let's do 10 years.
And then Graham Nash came in and said, "You don't ever have to go through this from now on. I'm going to introduce you every night."
Oh, nice. That's
great. He would come out every night and introduce me.
And that made all the difference.
Bands are like hard sometimes to open. It's like time-lapse photography too.
Yeah.
It's like they don't want to see the opening act. What time is the opening act done? That's when I'll sit down.
Right. Well, no one wants. You can always feel coming out that the audience just go, "Oh fuck," nobody wants to see the opening.
I never got that though. Why the hell do you have a comedian opening? I mean, for bands anyway. It's like
I guess they want to do less time, but they don't want competition from another band and the setup. Who uses equipment.
And a lot of the comedians use singers, right?
Yeah,
like the big singers. Big comedians.
We were talking about Steve Martin when I went to see Steve Martin at the National Coliseum. They go, "Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Martin," and a folk singer came out named Steve Martin, which was hilarious.
Leon
Steve Martin plays too.
Yeah, right. I don't know, but it's but the good thing about that was you got to be funny real fast. Don't.
Oh, I know.
Don't high audience, how you guys doing? Just go for it.
Yeah, because any concert I've ever been to, we're busy getting high before the band comes on. It's like who gives a shit about a comedian? I don't know.
And I remember I was opening for Rodney a couple of years, and we went to see the Beach Boys. Had nothing to do with Rodney, but we just went to see them. And an opening act came out, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh fuck." And I went, "Wait a minute, that's what I do. Why am I being the asshole in the audience?"
I know.
It's just built in. Oh god damn it.
You don't remember who it was, do you?
No, I don't remember at all. I don't think it's somebody that I know, but it's like, and he was fine. He was good, So it's just a built-in prejudice against the poor
Well,
guy.
it's hard too because
Yeah.
like we were working like I was doing the acoustic tour, but we were still doing 8 and 10,000 seat arenas.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So you get 8 and 10,000
Yeah.
people spread out because
Uh-huh.
they're not filled up. But when Graham Nash would come out and go, "Hey, welcome to the thing. We got a great guy," and people go, "It's Graham Nash." They run to
They
their
didn't hear what he
seats.
said.
You know, they run to their seats.
Yeah, exactly.
It made all the difference in the world.
Well, they've tried to do comedy in the dumbest places. Remember when they were trying to do it on airplanes and different. It's like it's like, come on, man.
That was People's Express. We did that
Peter
once.
Bales. Peter Bale, I remember.
I did it. I did it.
You and Peter, right?
Well, it wasn't just Peter.
So in
They
other
had a
words, you
bunch
do
of
anything.
us.
You do anything for a check, huh, John?
I was a whore.
Me too. I'll do anything.
You made the parachutes
George.
disappear.
Even George.
Meanwhile, it's during the morning, and it's all these businessmen like looking at you, going, "Shut the fuck up! I got a meeting in 10 minutes."
Yeah. They made us do. I don't know if any of you guys did Carnival cruises, but someone came up with the brilliant idea of doing brunch shows. People are in the restaurant, and they said, "Let's have a comedian do 5 minutes every hour for the first 3 hours." So not only did we go up to these, going up to these people, going, "Hey, how you doing? What is that soup?" And you're trying to do some crowd work, and they're looking at you like, "What the fuck are you?"
Table to table, you had to do it.
Table, yeah.
Oh my god!
And like an airplane, then you're stuck with these people for the whole cruise.
Yeah. And they wanted to promote the main show that night or 2 nights from now or something like that.
Yeah, that's a great promotion. That's a great promotion. The annoying guy at your table.
Yeah, I had to do 3 of those, and then you got to stick around because the other comics are going to go on, and you don't want to be a dick and miss their show. So finally at noon they'd release you. I mean, people with their fucking ideas. No one asks us.
I could see if it was a real famous comic, that would be a thrill. But for just a regular, somebody, whatever, it's really, if you're Rodney, you could be dragging your nuts through the place, and
I could book at a college once, and they put me on in the cafeteria while people were eating.
Yeah, they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Colleges were strange.
My friend Adam was like the college entertainer for the year for like 5 years in a row. Adam Ace, and he was doing a college. This is like a year ago. And it was like a nooner, but sometimes you're in the morning at 10 o'clock. And he said he's on stage and he's doing really well because, he's got it figured out. And all of a sudden, this guy walks across the stage. He goes, "I'm a teacher down the hall. Enough!" And throws the microphone down and walks off.
Right.
He goes, "I'm just standing there like in shock. Like, well, what do I do? I can't finish this
They would have
show."
weird gig. If you had like where I went to, they had the student union, so you had a bar. Yeah. So they had comedy shows. That would work because it's actually a regular bar. People are drinking. It's like a regular comedy
set.
They
don't have alcohol.
The colleges
anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I did one college gig that was cool. It was a night gig, but the rest of them were just so strange.
Yeah, and I remember when I first started doing comedy, and I was still at Dangerfields, and some college, same thing, wanted me to do a show. Okay, what time's the show? I think noon. I think. Okay, and it's where? It's in the cafeteria, of course, because they have chairs there. And I go, here's the question: how long do you want me to do? And there was silence for like a full minute, and then she finally goes, 4 hours. I go, I'll do 45. Okay. She had no idea.
4 hours.
4 hours. Yeah, were you just at a Grateful Dead concert or something like that?
we were at I was part of that Coors Comedy Commando things where we did all the colleges.
Yeah.
And it was very funny, and it was very lucrative for all of us. And then after the second year, Coors turned around and said, "You know what? For the amount of money we're spending, we could go on campus giving each kid a 6-pack, and they probably like it better."
Yeah. I remember Joan got me on the Tonight Show. She was hosting because she was one of the hosts, so she got me on the Tonight Show. And I was about to do it like the following week or something. I did a show somewhere, and these guys come up and goes, "Hi, we do sun chlorine. We have a convention, and we have a what do you call that? A little segment where they sell their chlorine products." And I go, "We'd love to have you like come out and do comedy every 30 minutes and for people passing by, and they'll come to the thing." And they'll see the chlorine. I go,
Like a trade show, right?
yeah, trade show, right? And I go, I don't maybe. He goes, okay, and it's on this date, and it was the date that I was supposed to do the Tonight Show. He says, "Oh, guys, no, I'm sorry, I'm doing the Tonight Show that night." And how? And they said, "Okay, too bad." I said, "How much would it pay?" And he goes, 10 grand. I said, "I'm going to call Joan." See if I can. She changed my Tonight Show so I
just
did the sun chlorine.
And I just happened to have a half an hour on
I did
chlorine.
this. I did the same. I did the same thing with this
Did you really?
insurance company.
Uh-huh.
And they go, "Oh, it's going to be in Austin, Texas. Not Austin. It was in San Antonio before my son lived there." And he goes, and it's going to be a corporate show, and it's all. And I just didn't want to do it,
Yeah.
And he's like, I go, "Well, let me look at my calendar. Yeah, I seem to have something that day." He goes, "Oh," I go, what would the money have been anyway?" He goes, 10 grand first class airfare, and I'll pay your wife, who was my assistant at the time, 2,500 if she'll be in your show.
Nice.
And I go, "Oh, well, maybe I can move some things around." You feel like a dick. You just feel like a dick.
I know.
And it was the worst show in the world. When they pay you a lot of money and it's the worst show. It was in a theater. I walk in, I go, "Oh, this is great. It's like a little Broadway theater. This is going to kill." So what they did was they set all the tables up on top of the stage and had a spaghetti dinner first. And then I heard the one maitre d' go, "We're in trouble. We've already gone through 200 bottles of wine."
Oh, fuck.
So they're drunk, right? There's I think 100 of them, maybe.
Yeah.
And the first guy I call up on stage, it's from American Express. The first guy I call up on stage goes, "This company sucks."
So you never get that out of the chlorine people.
I go, "Where are you working on Monday?"
At least with the chlorine show, he had to be clean. Thank you.
Hey, you should have a podcast.
Hey, no, he's working his way up to a He's working his way up to a podcast.
I'm such a dick. I'm such a dick. Sorry, I had to.
Wasn't that the old joke? What was the old joke? My maid couldn't come today. She was too busy doing her podcast.
Yes, exactly. That's why
it used to be the one-man show, but now it's the podcast. All right. Oh, fuck.
So you worked with who else did you work with?
Well, Joan Rivers, man, come on.
That was 2 years.
Joan Rivers
that was
great.
2 years.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like Joan Rivers got when did she get
Jackie Mason?
What was that? What was the show? Was it the Tonight Show or what show did she take over?
She would guest host for Johnny when.
And then she got a show of her own.
And then she took over and then got fired.
And then when she got fired,
took over.
That was what I was coming to. Mulrooney took over for Joan.
I forgot that. Yeah, I forgot.
Mulrooney took over and he had on.
It was Ross Schaefer and Mulrooney.
He had on the Hollywood Madam or whatever she was.
Oh yeah, the puppet guy.
No, the Hollywood.
No, Heidi Fleiss.
Heidi Fleiss.
Oh, okay.
And this is John's interview because I still bust his balls about it. He goes, "You're a really interesting woman." He goes, "After reading your book, I just used to think you were some trashy bimbo."
Did she walk off then, or did she take some
I mean, total Mulrooney. But I think Mulrooney could have worked It was like a blue collar. If he was on early, blue collar host.
Well, it's like the Letterman. It's the wrong time for him.
When he was hosting the Late Show, his stand up was kind of not really taking off, and they said, "Listen." Next show he opened up, they let him go into the audience, and he was actually playing the audience of the Late Show, and it worked a lot better for him. But
that was his strength.
The show didn't survive anyway. But
that was Mulrooney's strength, man. He was probably one of the best improvs I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
Jackie Mason was an interesting guy, right?
Yeah.
Because I worked with him the opening night at East Side Comedy Club.
Really?
Richie's club.
Hello, Ann. There's a party in my mouth, and you're the guest of honor.
He
he was amazing. It's so funny. And then so what happened was I passed the open mic audition at Dangerfields, and they said, "Why don't you open for Jackie Mason next week?" I said, "Wow, great." So I'm waiting for him, and I come off stage. He says, "You're the guy that was just up."
That's a great job.
Let me tell you something. You're very funny. One clever thing after another. You got this joke over there. You got to put another one over there. You're very funny for a Gentile. And that was my medium attack. And ever since, we became friends. And every time I came back to New York from LA, I would call up his manager and we'd have lunch. And you'd always have a story, just unbelievable. He would just He would cross streets in Manhattan and not look. So he just
was
get hit by like 5 motorcycles and 2 cars.
That must have been real Friars Club type of thing, having lunch with Jackie Mason.
Oh fuck yeah!
I used to love the way he entered when he ended the show and he goes, "If you like my show, thank you very much. If you don't like it, I don't give a shit. I'm talking to you, Mister." And he starts yelling at this guy.
I'm very successful. I don't need you. Yeah,
what kind of bullshit is this? Actually, when I saw him when he was doing his one-man show, on Broadway, the first one, and I was in the audience, and of course he asked his manager, "Oh, Dennis was coming. Did he pay? He wanted me to pay."
Oh man, that's great.
And then by that time, I think he would do all this brilliant shit and stuff like that. And by the end of at the end of the show, he said, "Well, that's it," and walk off.
That first one-man show of his, I don't know if it was his first, but that was amazing. That was.
It was. So years later, they called me in a panic. This was in 2003, and Jackie was doing his 3rd one-man show, but he didn't want to do too much time anymore. He was getting older and tired. So he said, "I'm going to bring back vaudeville. We're going to have actors. We're going to have scenes like on Leffen. We're going to have like bits and Wall, and it's going to be a thing." And here's the thing: we just went through 5 writers, and all of them sucked. Do you do sketches? I go, "I've done sketches." So it's a long story short, they fly me out to New York. They had me like work on it. They loved it, what I came up with. But the audiences, the preview audiences, not so much. I don't know what happened. And Jill is coming. Why aren't they laughing? I don't know, because they don't think it's funny. They
wanted Jackie Mason. They wanted the old style Jackie Mason.
They thought it was going to be him doing stand-up. What's all these Gentiles walking around, jumping around, and doing sketches? So it went on Broadway for like 2 weeks, and the critics hated it. So they closed it. But I felt terrible because I thought I let them down. And I finally got up the nerve to call and says, "Jackie, I'm really sorry. I really tried." He says, "Listen, Bill, it's not your fault. No one wants to see me doing a musical." Well, thanks for giving me a warning before we did this. But it was just, but we still had so much fun. Just him being him. Amazing.
Yeah, I remember at the East Side Comedy Club, there was 3 owners when it first opened.
Yeah.
And it was kind of converted place. So one wall was brick and one wall was pine. And it was this. And I remember he comes walking out his opening. They're so proud of their new club. He goes, "Look at this fucking Jumperman." He goes, "Everyone I bump into is a fucking owner. This guy's an owner. This guy's an owner. Everybody's an owner." He goes, "Look at this place. One guy said, I got a little brick. The other guy goes, I got a little wood. Let's put it together. It looks like shit. What do we call it? We'll make it a comedy club."
Yeah. Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable.
Yeah, really funny. Really,
I remember
really
once on my visits to him in New York, he's in Starbucks and he's surrounded by all these people. I swear they're like out of Broadway Danny Rose, bad wigs. And they're all laughing at everything he says. And I sit down, he goes, "How you doing?" How's everything? And I said something, and he insulted me, which he always did, which is the fun of being with Jackie Mason.
Right.
And he said something. So I, in his voice, just look at him and I go, "What the fuck? I came all this way from Los Angeles and you have to put me down in front of all these fantastic people. What's wrong with you? What kind of a yenta, you son of a bitch? I thought we were friends, you motherfucker. How come you come here and you make that?" And I'm doing that for 2 minutes. Now his friends are laughing at me doing Jackie. And Jackie's just nodding his head. And I'm thinking, I'm getting Jackie good here. And I said, whatever I ended with it, that's it. I don't want to fucking see you anymore. And they all applaud. And Jackie just goes, "You're so insecure you had to borrow my personality."
Well, Richie Minervini used to, like, back when he was in the Fountain Blue days.
Yeah.
Richie Minervini owned the Comedy Club of Long Island. People don't know who he is. We refer to him a lot. And his grandparents had a condo or something right across the street. So as soon as they go to sleep, he'd go out the window and sneak into the Fountain Blue and watch Jackie like every night.
Uh-huh.
So one night, Jackie walks up to him and goes, "You're here every night. What is your problem? What are you, homeless?" And Richie's like, "No." He goes, "I love comedy." And he goes, "I want to be a comedian." So Jackie goes, "Well, why don't you come back tomorrow night? I'll let you open the show."
Oh.
And Richie was like 15. So he goes, "What do you, what kind of comedy you do?" And Richie goes, "I do you."
Oh, God.
And he goes, "What?" He goes, "Okay, kid, go do me." Richie said, "I came out and was doing Jackie Mason. Perfect impression." He goes, "I'm killing." He goes, "I am killing." And after a minute, Jackie walks out. "Okay, enough, you snot-nosed kid."
Oh, man.
You know who Clint Holmes is, right?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah.
I did his show. He had a TV show too, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So he told the story. He was opening for Jackie. Kills. They love him. He does great all the time. and he's taking his bows and something and like that, and he walks off, and it's still clapping, "Hey, Clint Hogan!" And Jackie just walks out and goes, "So you like the schmatzer?" Just that, just like that. No introduction. No, that wasn't
Those
even.
old time guys were like that, Rickles and whatever.
Yes, you like
Oh,
the
we
schmatzer?
must be hitting a time there, Craig.
Yeah, I hate to break the bad news, but it's time to start wrapping up.
Hey, it went fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's one more time, just so let's put this up here. Tell us about the book and where to get it.
Amazon, and there's the publisher is called I don't even remember the publisher's name. Amazon's good.
It's called Touring with Legends, just because for the audio.
Yeah, stories like this.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Backstage stories.
Dennis Blair, Touring with Legends.
Yes,
it's actually a fold out of the middle of Rod.
Yeah, with
Rodney's sack.
But his balls are crossed out.
Oh no!
You'll have to buy the sequel to get
Sack
the full.
Busters.
All right, so I think we're going to say goodbye to Dennis, and thank you so much. We really had fun with you.
Yeah,
and let's end with his song.
We're gonna end with the song, but before that, let's say goodbye before we play the song. So,
all right. Well, I'm John
Fertino.
We got
Mike
Craig.
I'm Craig Mitchell. That's Dennis Blair right there.
That's Dennis Blair, and thanks, Dennis, so much. Good seeing you. Good
Same here. Great to
catch us on Podcast
fun.
Playground and
you catch us on Strong Island. You can catch us on Apple. You can catch us on Podcast Playground, Spotify, YouTube.
Keep it into your sister's bedroom. All right, there
iTunes.
We go.
Rodney Dangerfield's robe. Anywhere.
Hey, stop talking about me, okay?
Thanks, Dennis.
You got it.
Thanks
guys.
All right.
Let's hear some music.
Here's a clip of Dennis singing part of his song, Thinking About Tomorrow, on his new album, Reset, which is available in mid-May. Enjoy.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, come on. Well, I've been talking to myself like I was somebody else. Someone that I would rather be. A lot more hopeful, hopefully. Well, I've been thinking about tomorrow. Well, I've been thinking about tomorrow. I can't wait until tomorrow, 'cause today